Hello everyone and welcome back to Steel Division 2. Today we're going to take a look at a tutorial for how to use your artillery. So I've created a game here against the AI. I've set position, we're now in phase B. And I've put up a basic defensive line here. If you're watching a tutorial, you might be new, so this could be good for you to watch. Just a classic map. This is Orsha North, I do believe. And you have 80 here and 80 here that will cover not only this if the enemy comes here and try to escape your 80 from here, but also that's going to come down the road. It's already being used to good effect here. um, Flamer squad here in case some CQC units arrive. There's a machine gun here, there's a machine gun here to cover that 80, and there's troops here, a flamer, ersatz, and grenadier 1 star to repulse any kind of activity that would come around here. So these are all to protect your AT gun here. Another classic machine gun plus 80. Classic again, machine gun plus 80. This 80 is put here, so it only shoots at the distance of 1k and less. So whatever it shoots, it will be able to kill easily. Whereas if it was to shoot at this guy at that distance, it wouldn't be that useful. AT gun coming here because the enemy was coming around here. Machine gun here that was made to protect my CQC infantry in there, the flamers, but they got destroyed by these. I could remove it from return fire now that I have proper AT defensive. There's 2 machine gun here. This will be able to shoot down here and down the road, protected by an AT gun, and a Panzer IV support weapon in case there's a mass of infantry coming down here or down here. You never know, maybe even wants to take place in these roads. And then here you have the same thing here, infantry and CQC to protect that AT gun from shooting down so that he be able to shoot down the road. There's an Ersatztruppen here because they only got rifles and an MP40. There's no machine gun, so I put them here where they could do some close combat. I got the Ostruppen here. These have the machine gun, so they can shoot a bit further. They have a better line of sight. There's a machine gun here for the same reason. And there's a Panzer IV to support this AT gun in case there's infantry coming here or machine gun trying to shoot at it. Then they'll have to deal with the Panzer IV right here. And this is not an anti-tank tank, so these are both giving support to each other and effectively blocking down the street here. So this is my troop support. These were all bought with the first purchase of the 750 points of the game when you start with in 1v1. Then I started building my artillery and anti-air. So if you build up artillery, you'll want anti-air. First I put 2 mortars here, then I put 2 mortars here. Then I set up the heavy artillery that you're not gonna need that much in 1v1, but since this is a tutorial, I put them there. You want to put the heavy artillery close to each other, not in the same circle, but relatively close to each other so that your supply truck can go from there to there to there with ease. You want to take your artillery with a vehicle that will be able to move them around. So after you shoot a couple times, you load back into your truck, you move elsewhere, and then you do this every time so that the enemy cannot shoot at you. Then you want to put the air defense for your artillery. So maybe the enemy's gonna try to come and bomb you, maybe they're gonna try to whatever. So here I got heavy anti-air at the back, and I got medium anti-air at the front. And then what I would do is put light anti-air near the front line, those cheap the cheap screening stuff. And so like that, if the enemy tries to come for your anti-air in the front, then as they advance more, they'll have to deal with these guys. And it's also very difficult for the enemy bomber to come and destroy you here, or for enemy mortars wouldn't even be able to shoot at you from this distance. And heavy artillery, they have a wide range of dispersion. So let's say I want to shoot I want to shoot here. Then you see the dispersion is very little. I want to shoot here where there's no radio. You see the radio by the line here, which is controlled by a by this radio from the artillery itself. So as further you go, further the circle goes. So if the enemy artillery is here, then you've got all this margin of error here, which is about 200 meters or so. So that's a lot. So the enemy will have a lot of margin of error to try to kill your stuff. And this is a pretty defensive position here. A lot of people will use the 88 up and personal, and these will get destroyed in no time. I personally don't do that. Up to each other, those do what they want. And I've got the same thing here. Heavy AA behind, medium AA in front. I don't put them here because I don't want it to get destroyed. And then I'm going to put another Flak 43 around here to protect these guys. And then I'd probably put a 88 around here as well. And this serves double purpose. It can shoot down the road here. This one here can shoot down the road here. This one here, well, it doesn't do much, but still. So this is a good typical defensive setup. We're playing balance here, so this is pretty good. I think I've picked the wrong in the division. I created a division with lots of infantry to attack me, but anyway. Now what you want to do with the artillery is put them into groups. So 81 millimeter mortars here, you take them, you put them in group 3. Why 3? Well, because these guys are at your far right corner. So you know that group 3 is the mortars at the far right corner. Group 2 will be the mortars in the middle. And group 1 will be the heavy artillery at the far left. So it's easier for you to remember group 3, group 2, group 1. It works better that way. You don't have to think overly about, oh, who's group 2 already? I don't know. Well, yeah, you know, group 2 is in the middle because the key, the number 2 key on the keyboard is in the middle. So now that you have your group set, how do you use them? Obviously, the mortar, you'll use them just around here. And these as well, and these can go a bit everywhere, but ideally you'd use them around here, but they can support everywhere on the map. Now how you want to do that, ideally, is you want to take your mortar, you want to be preemptive about it. So one thing I always do is, wait, I made a notepad here to make sure I said it correctly. Anyway, I don't find it, but I know it anyway in my head. Is you want to use return fire on your artillery. So we're gonna take group 3. We're gonna put fire. Let's say we know the enemy is most likely going to attack either here or here, right? So let's say we believe the enemy is gonna attack from here. You put the mortar, say here. Put it on return fire right away. And then we're going to group 2. Well, we know the enemy is attacking in the open ground because they're stupid like that. So say we're gonna put it here. Put it on return fire right away. And the heavy artillery, say we want to do an attack in that forest. And we believe there's probably not anything here, but we believe there's enemy here. Do that and put return fire. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you shoot inside a circle, so let's say the enemy has taken position in this house only, then you want to use this here, the small circle inside the radio range. As you see, the line is here. You use a small circle. But if you click on, let's say the enemy has put infantry in this house, in this house, in this house, in this house, in this house. You know, there's a bunch of enemy. You don't want just the artillery shooting at one person, right? So you'll want to use control. And you see, that put the circle bigger. So your area of fire is bigger. So then you can just shoot there. and it's gonna shoot at everything there. You don't have this control. This is only available in the area of radio range. So, say the enemy, we want to attack there. Then we're gonna prepare our offensive with some ersatz, a couple of grenadier here. We'll want to use a couple of trucks, one trucks here, and one tank. And these Aufklärers are going to be good. Here, let me put this. These Aufklärer, they come with the SDKZ 247B. And this is going to be excellent for support fire. To shoot at infantry. It's like a mobile armored machine gun. So this is always good to use. Plus, it's a recon, so that's going to be extra good to use. Now let's say, so now you got all your preemptive strike already done. So what does that mean? Is that if for example the enemy now starts shooting at us, all you have to do is go to group 3, return fire, you remove return fire, and then bam, the artillery is already shooting. So you see the response time is extremely quick, although it has to be preemptive. You have to know where the enemy is coming. So that took, let's calculate here. Let's say we take group 3 and there's people there. So we see them right now. So let's say they go there, we see them. Mêlée 1, mêlée 2, mêlée 3, mêlée 4, mêlée 5, mêlée 6, mêlée 7, mêlée 8, mêlée 9, mêlée 10, mêlée 11, mêlée 12, 12 seconds before the fire start shooting. Let's say we didn't prepare a position. There's enemy going here. So, okay. So we're gonna see them just about now. Mêlée 1, mêlée 2, mêlée 3, mêlée 4, mêlée 5, mêlée 6, mêlée 7, mêlée 8, mêlée 9, mêlée 10, mêlée 11, mêlée 12, mêlée 13, mêlée 14, mêlée 15, mêlée 16, mêlée 17, mêlée 18, mêlée 19, mêlée 20, mêlée 21, mêlée 22, mêlée 23, mêlée 24, mêlée 25, mêlée 26, mêlée 27, mêlée 28, mêlée 29. So that's 30 seconds for your artillery to arrive, whereas here you only had it in 14 seconds. So there's a huge difference, and all you need to do is predetermine where the enemy will attack you. There's not a lot of places. They can come here, they can come here, they can come here. If you got 2 mortars here, 2 here, 2 here, you can even do all 3 of them. And then you'd use, let's say, 0, 9, 8 for these groups. And then here, you'd use 7, 6, 5. Here, you'd use 4, 3, 2. And then for your heavy artillery, 1. Always put your heavy artillery together. The more you shoot with groups, the more effect you will have on the enemy. So if you shoot this mortar here, it's gonna suck. Okay, let's be honest. It's just gonna suck. You want to use them in groups. Mortars at least 2. Okay, guys. I'd use 3 personally, but use at least 2 of them per group. And don't forget to move them after you're done shooting. Move them around because the enemy will start shooting back at you. So anyway, here's our offensive. We're gonna... Oh, these guys got shot at. We're gonna start shooting here. And now what I'm gonna do with this SDAKZ is actually I'm gonna give it the attack order on the T-34. So now the SDAKZ will follow the T-34 and will not go any further, so that they can go at the same speed. And this one will act as a recon for the T-34, and it will also act as a enemy suppressor. So let's say you got 3 of these trucks following 1 tank, and there's a bazooka. Suddenly you see it before it shoots by some miracle, because these guys were recons. Then you got 3 machine gun plus whatever tanks you got. Here, this guy's got 2. You got 5 machine guns shooting at the bazooka at the same time, plus the HE shells. And so that has a chance to have them to have them suppressed before they even start shooting. So now our attack is well on the way. We put these troops here. The tank is, we're going to put it here. He's going to be ready to assault. And we got our heavy artillery here. It's on return fire at the area we want to attack. We'll take fire position. We'll press shift, if I remember correctly. Wait, slow-mo. Yeah, we press shift and we'll put other rounds there. And then we press shift and we'll put other rounds here. And can we put smoke here? No, that's too far. But ideally you want smoke as well. So let's put these guys in just before the attack. So we're gonna wait for our attack. Let's start to bring more better anti-tank just to defend my position here. I'm just gonna put some infantry here. Okay, so now these half-track mortar, I personally always suggest to use them in groups of 4. So these are gonna be my 0 because they're moving. I need to take care of them. I need to know where they are at all time. 0 is gonna be good. Oh fuck, this guy's gonna die. Alright, good thing I've got heavy air. I can turn around and engage maybe that P-39 right here. No, but close. Anyway. So, 0, stop. I want to put smoke. I want to cover the approach here. So I'm going to put smoke here right away. Smoke here. Smoke here. So this is going to start shooting. And as soon as you shoot, you want to start your offensive. Because you don't want the enemy to know and to be able to react strongly. So there you go. Now, I've released return fire from these guys. So I'm gonna wait for the artillery to shoot here. And automatically, because we told these guys to start shooting here, they'll start shooting at the same time. So now you want to go right away before they stop shooting. And advance your T-34. So now the enemy is suppressed around here. So if there was some enemy, they'd be badly suppressed. Now this is heavy artillery, so they're going to shoot longer than I would have hoped. So if you see that, stop your infantry right away. The heavy mortar is not done shooting. And start bringing reinforcement right away as well. Stop your tank, because this guy's taking some time to arrive with him. Well, this is taking a turn, but anyway, it's not what... I'm going to take 2 and start shooting here. I'm not going to put them on return fire because I want them to suppress right away whatever's coming here. Oh. You see these circles are still there, so that means... Oh, look, there was some infantry. And now, because we killed it with the artillery, it backed up. Now is your time to move. And these infantries are going to kill any remaining... Whoops. Okay, that was their last round. It's going to kill any remaining... Oh, look at that. Look at that. This was pinned down by the artillery. So the Ersatz-Truppen destroyed that unit. It surrendered them. Now we're going to use 0, and we're going to need more smoke around here, because we don't want our tanks to get side shot. You can... Now, I'm going to press pause here. When you use smoke with the half-track mortar, you don't need 4 here. So you put your initial order, and then group 0, you click on that, and you know, like, look, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the bottom of your screen. Well, you know that they're all shooting here. So 1 is going to be to shoot here. You manually select 2 and then put him to shoot there. Then you'll press 0 again. Right. Let's say that. You press 0 again. You click on number 3. You tell him to put smoke here. You press 0 again. You click on number 4. You come back. Sometimes it skips to the area. And you're gonna... Well, we could put smoke here at the same place where the artillery is shooting. But we're just gonna heavily smoke this area. And then you do that. And so, as you do... Number 1, number 2, number 3. Number 1 has already started shooting smoke here, and the others are gonna smoke there. So this is gonna really spread your smoke around. And then while all of this is happening, you've got reinforcement coming on the way as well. You take your reinforcement. This is pretty safe here. There's smoke, so you can even rush your infantry around here. If you got planes, you can come and shoot at random area. So maybe there's artillery there, so the enemy will have retreated a bit around here. Just put a plane there. This is if the enemy doesn't have a lot of AA. These type of assault, they work very well in phase A. But then you don't have access to all of that in phase A. But you know, it's a balancing game, right? You need to choose what you want to do and whatnot. So now we're taking this. Maybe with this reinforcement, we can actually take these houses here. Tank reinforcement has arrived. We're going to put them right here to defend against any counterattack. So it's important to be able to defend against counterattack as well. Now you see the enemy is trying to come at my reinforcement, but I prepared for this. And so they'll have a hard time doing so. Now the enemy is busy with our attack here, so he's let go a little bit around here, but this is just the AI, remember? But still. There's smoke here. There you go. So now we can advance our infantry around here. Everything here is going to be suppressed. These are the last rounds of our artillery. I can start bringing more aggressive AA right around here. These guys we're gonna unload. You don't want to unload actually like right at the front line. And these guys are gonna be our reinforcement for these guys for when they die. Now we're gonna take this here. We're gonna start bombing around here as well, just behind. We're gonna bring one tank in the forest with the recon, but usually you do not want to bring your tanks. Now you see I've bombarded this area, and the front line is kind of moving away as my troops come in. Now there's bombs here, so if he was planning a counterattack here, these troops are now suppressed. And this is how you want to use your artillery. Then you can take a group 0 here, 2, and kind of just fire around. Number 3 will fire here. Number 4 will fire here. And then you want to prepare your troops around here. Move these one forward. You want to keep them, you know, these advance here, your reinforcement a bit behind, because the enemy might put some off map. If he had an off map here, would all be suppressed, even these guys. But yeah, so actually, yeah, let's keep them just a little bit separated from the rest. This guy was not suppressed, but we did bomb there, so it happens, right? It happens. Now, everything is being shot to bits here. Now you want to move your artillery around. So while this offensive is now stopped, it's been a long time we should have done that, but these were good to support the offensive. Like, look at that. Now we're going to move forward. And our artillery piece are going to unload elsewhere. There you go. There you go. And always keep them close to a road, because then you want to be able to supply with one truck, you know. So one truck's going to come here, another one will come here, another one will come here. don't resupply your troops instantly because they might die, you know, so you wasted a lot of points resupplying them. Now, another reason you might want to put them on return fire. That's not worth risking our tank here. One reason you want to put them on return fire is because you don't want wasting ammo. So if the enemy is attacking and you put your rounds on them, if you just press fire position, go there, and then you do other stuff, you forget about it. By the time you forgot about it, the enemy troops has advanced out of this circle, and you're just wasting your ammo. And you don't have tons of ammo, so that's a waste of ammo to do that. Never just shoot and forget, okay? Shoot, put on return fire, and then when you come back to it, if the enemy is still there, then you return fire. And then actually we're not going to do that because there's almost nothing here. So the enemy is most likely right here. Number 3 will fire here, and number 4, we knew there's maybe something around here. So you know the enemy might prepare it along the edges for a counter attack, and you want to be ready for that. Now your artillery moved, so maybe the enemy will be shooting around here, and your heavy artillery is now all deployed and ready to move again. And this is gonna be, say our next attack is gonna be here, so you want to do that. There you go. Now you want to move, because these are mortars, they fire quick, so you can still move while the red circle is there. Oh, and just as we thought it was there, but it was more in the forest, so it didn't get shot. But you know, it's a chance to take. It's always a chance to take. But it's important. Look at these. These are they're badly suppressed, almost close to being pinned down. And there you go. They're pinned. So there you go, guys. That concludes our artillery tutorial. I hope you've learned a lot from it. It's very hard to use, okay? I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of micromanagement, and you want to practice that a lot before you actually start doing it. So so practice these rules here. And so this is the doctrine. There's 5 doctrines here. Number 1, by the time they shoot, the enemy might not be there anymore, so it's a waste of ammo, which over time is capital for your survival if the game gets to last a long time. This is the notepad, by the way. I'm reading, if you haven't noticed. This is my notepad I've written for me to remember. So why return fire? Because of that. Why return fire? Number 2, you want your arty and mortar shooting at the same time, not one after the other, so that the enemy has less time watching where the trails come from. So if you shoot one after the other, you'll see like there's going to be a trail, then another trail, then a trail, then another trail. It's much easier for the enemy to see those trails rather than if you just shoot at the same time. And then there's just one chance that he's gonna see all trails together. So you know it's a bit of a gamble, but I think it's worth one. Number 3, why put return fire? Units get suppressed more if the bombs drop at the same time closer to each other. Now this is just speculations because I don't know that for a fact, but it does look like it. Number 4, by choosing selected area of artillery, you can plan your assault better and have better fire support for your defenses. I've already explained that and showed it to you, so I'm not going to go into further details with that. And number 5, you also want to overwhelm the enemy by constantly shooting smoke to cover your approach and constantly shooting HE to drain your enemy's attention. So it's a good idea to have artillery guns for number 4 and mortars for number 1, 2, 3, and 5. So what does this do? Even if you shoot at nothing, the enemy is still, you know, wasting time trying to look at where your trails are, like, oh, where's this enemy? It's also given the enemy a heavy load on his mantle. So if he's constantly being shelled, no matter if it hits his infantry or not, it's draining for him. He's like, fuck, man, I'm getting shelled by everything. I can't move there because there's always bombs. And it's like, oh, where are these trails coming from? You know, like, where's the enemy? And so this is taking a toll on the enemy to always being under constant fire. Also, not being able to fire at you is another constant problem here. So if there's always smoke on the ground, you can actually bring your infantry to places where they wouldn't be able to arrive before. And not just your infantry, but your anti-tank guns too. You can bring them forward because there's going to be smoke to cover your approach. So you see, now I can bring all of these units, even though there's 3 tanks here covering and probably more infantry and support weapons around here. Well, they're not going to be able to see you anymore. So, you know, this is always good. Always good. Always put smoke before an attack. Look at that. All of this smoke here. Now my troops are coming in. They're going to be in cover. And this is very good. And so, yeah. So those are my 5 doctrines for artillery use. They're hard to follow. But, you know, personally, every day I try to abide by them, it seems to only get better. And it is by practicing that you will get better as well. And you'll be able to start using them efficiently. Maybe you want to test this out with the against the AI for first. That's an idea, but the AI kind of sucks. They're not gonna. It's not gonna prepare you well against an enemy assault. It's just gonna. It might even hurt you more than any other things. And see now, this Pack 40 is like well on its way, and at this distance, it's gonna be extra deadly. Of course, the enemy tank too. I wouldn't bring a Pack 40 there. I usually have light AT guns, like these guys, the Pack 184. These are the people. These are the anti-tank guns I would bring. I would bring around. And you want to also constantly put smoke. Like, don't stop yourself to just. These don't have any smoke anymore. You want to be able to resupply your smoke as well. So, you know, now you have, now I was able to capture all of this by just putting smoke on the ground. And now comes the job to destroy these guys, which is another story in itself. What the fuck? But anyway, so there you go, guys. That was the artillery tutorial. I hope it's gonna help you. I hope to see you in the battlefield. I hope to see people actually use this as I go into battle, and I see, you know, this is really gonna help you, I think. Overall, artillery is not a big deal in 1v1, but if you use more, you can just do that with mortars. It's going to help you a lot. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for today. And yeah, so goodbye. Have a good day.